take this opportunity to introduce myself. My name is Dustin Rhodes. I'm the owner of DFW Geeks and the lead technician. We do on-site computer repair and service, but we also deal with audio video equipment. Anytime we get a home theater install, we are pretty excited to do that. It's the fun part of the job. Today we're going to focus on a very important part of the home theater setup, and that is the recessed speaker install. Even though it's a small part, it's a very important part indeed. Real quick, I'd like to ask a few questions. Any of y'all enjoy watching movies?
Sure.
Yes.
Okay. Someone tell me a movie they like to watch.
Pirates of the Caribbean.
Do you think that that was a better movie in the theater or at home?
At home.
At home?
Yes.
Okay. Anyone else?
Transformers.
Transformers in theater or in your home?
Your theater.
Okay. Well, you can, believe it or not, you can have a theater experience at home. And not only can you do that, you can actually do it yourself rather than hire it out to someone else. Real quick, I would like you guys to introduce yourself to the group and tell a little bit about your interest in audio, video, and home theaters. We'll start on this side of the room.
My name's Rachel, and my husband and I are about to build a house, and we want to build a media room as well. But I don't know anything.
Very cool.
I'm Tammy, and I don't think I ever need anything, but once we get it, I love it.
Texas salesman. My name is Kevin. I have an audio theater, and I enjoy it immensely.
All right.
My name's Chad, and I will have an audio theater, media room one day.
My name's Ted. I have a surround sound system in our living room, but none of it's recessed. It's all just on stands. So.
Very cool.
My name's Allison, and I'd be interested in recessed speakers so I don't knock them over with my bike.
I'm Michael, and we're interested in this product. Not sure about the cost yet, but the idea of doing it ourselves might help on that.
All right.
My name is Tom, and I'd like to watch one, but I don't know about buying one.
All right. And we missed someone in the back of the room.
I'm Janet, and I don't know anything about it, but I'm sure I would enjoy it once it was there.
Very cool, very cool. Okay, real quick, want to talk to you about first selecting your speaker. There are small speakers, there are large speakers, and then there are recessed speakers. Really, it's up to you. It's your taste. In my living room, I have real large, gaudy speakers. I like the look of them. My wife doesn't so much, but it's really up to personal preference. In my media room, where space is an issue, I've gone the recessed speaker route. Basically, you're going to need to go to the store, look at a bunch of different speakers, first decide aesthetically what you're trying to accomplish, and then you're going to need to listen to a bunch of different speakers and decide which area you want to compromise for either sound quality or visual aesthetics. Once you've selected these speakers, of course you need to purchase them and bring them home, and we'll work on how you get to install them. First, let me show you a few tools. Up on the slide, we've got a couple of the tools needed, which is power drill, keyhole saw. You're going to need your speaker template, which actually comes with your speaker, a pencil. A couple other tools that's not mentioned on the slide is your stud finder, which we're not going to use in this presentation, just because we know where the studs are currently located. Also, you'll need your Phillips manual screwdriver and a Fisher tape, which we're not going to use in this presentation either. This is to get your speaker wire to the speaker. Also recommend a sharp knife for trimming out the sheetrock after you get done cutting it with the rough keyhole knife. A couple other items that aren't here are speaker wire and Dynamat. One area that people tend to skimp on is speaker wire. They spend a ton of money on their speakers, on their receivers, but then they spend nothing on their speaker wire. That's a big mistake. You're going to want to have a good connection between your speakers and your audio video receiver so that you have optimal sound quality. It's not a sexy product. It's something that's in the wall, you don't ever see it, and that's why it tends to be put on the wayside. People don't want to spend money on things they don't really see. But I recommend just going ahead and making that initial investment. You only have to make it once. Just a couple brands I recommend would be Monster or Fishfire. They're both really good products. They make a very good low latency speaker wire at a reasonable price. Real quick.
Can we ask questions?
Yeah. Do you have any questions?
What is that Dynamat thing that you're talking
The
about?
Dynamat is a cover that goes on the inside of the wall in order to cancel out any type of vibrations. When the speaker projects sound out, it's also at the same time projecting it back inwards, and when it bounces off the inside of the wall, it's going to cause distortion on your speaker. This is an expensive product that is kind of new to the market, but an alternative that you could use is if you go to an auto parts store, you can get a spray-in bed liner product and spray on the inside of the wall. That can have a similar effect, not quite as high performance as the Dynamat, but it does work. And speaking about speaker quality or sound quality for in-the-wall speakers, you're working with an open air space. If the speaker's in a wall that has insulation, there's less airspace. You tend to get less interference and blowback because the insulation tends to trap those sounds, much like Dynamat does. If you are working with a wall that does not have insulation in it, what I recommend doing is cutting a few pieces of insulation and inserting it around the speaker just inside the wall after you make your cut in the hole. For speaker installations that are recessed in your ceiling, what you can do is get in your attic, build a box around that speaker, seal it in with some foam sealant or some silicone, and then from the inside go ahead and spray that with the bed liner or install some Dynamat, and that creates a smaller airspace and reduces the amount of speaker interference you're going to have. After you've got your speaker selected, you've got your tools out, you're ready to go, what you'll need to do is go ahead and prepare your room, tape off take plastic over any of your furniture. You're going to need to open your door for ventilation, particularly if you're sensitive to sheetrock dust. You're going to want to notify all your family members of your work area. If you just go to cutting holes in your wall and you don't notify your spouse, it might cause a problem if they suddenly show up and wonder what you're doing. Now that you're ready to go, you've got everything taped off, what we'll need to do is go ahead and open your box. What I recommend doing, this is a big mistake I've seen before, is people get their big long knife and they just go jabbing in and cutting as deep and fast as they can. What I recommend is taking the knife and cut the tape as shallow as possible so as not to cut into the speaker. Your speaker warranty does not cover you cutting the speaker with your knife. And you laugh, but trust me, it's happened before and it happens a lot. And Clips, Best Buy, they will not give you your money back. After you open your speaker box, the first thing you're going to see is your instructions and your registration card for your warranty. I recommend go ahead and open them up, fill out your registration card, which we're not going to do for time purposes here. But the reason I recommend doing that is because if you wait, odds are you're not going to send it in. If something ends up wrong with your speaker and you didn't send your registration card in, you're not going to get your warranty. But let's go ahead and carefully tip over the box and empty your speaker onto your table gently. And the first thing you're going to see when you open up is your template. Be very careful to take that out. Do not bend it. Set it aside somewhere safe because that's going to provide the template. And if it's bent or cut or missing a chunk, it's going to be difficult to mark your hole properly. Additionally, you're going to see a grill. This is for aesthetic purposes only. You're actually going to lose a little bit of sound quality using these. A lot of people say it's not perceivable, but a lot of people like the look of the grill so that it blends in with the wall. And you can also paint this to match the color of your wall. We're going to set that aside for now. Next, you'll go ahead and unwrap your speaker carefully so as not to drop it. These are very sensitive to damage. You've got a protective cover, which I recommend leaving on there until we get to the point of actually installing the speaker into the wall. Now, what I like to do is go ahead and keep all the trash picked up and inside the box and out of the way. I've seen lots of people work with dirty workspaces. You end up tripping onto your tools or punching a hole in your wall because your trash is right there beside your work area. So we'll go ahead and set that aside and go ahead and move on to the next part. Next, you're going to go ahead and locate your speakers where you want them to be. What I recommend doing is taking a piece of tape and placing the tape where you want your speaker. Reason being, depending on the size of your room, you're going to have 5 to 7 speakers. And you may need to make adjustments based on where you want the speakers. You only want to cut once. So location is going to be very important. After you determine your location, mark it off. You're going to run the speaker wire, which we're not able to do here. But that's an additional benefit of having the mark there. You know where you're going to be able to run that speaker wire to. Let's go ahead and tape the template on the wall where you placed your mark, which is typically going to be to one side of your stud. Right now, for this purpose, we're just going to do in the middle. Once you've taped your template on there, you're going to want to go ahead and mark while applying pressure to the template with your other hand so that it does not move on you, like that. Go ahead and remove your template, and what I recommend doing is before you just go gung-ho and cut the hole in the wall, go ahead and place your speaker over your mark. And by doing that, you want your mark to disappear, and so you'll know that your hole is smaller than the speaker you're trying to install. I made the mistake on my most recent home theater install of grabbing the wrong template for the speaker. I grabbed a template that was too large. I went to go place the speaker in it, and whoop, it went through the wall. I ended up with a $150 sheetrock repair, and it turned out to be a 5 days till I could enjoy my theater because I had a hole in the wall that the speaker was too small for. So it's very important to check that. I was taught early on to always check twice and cut once, and so just make sure that your hole is the right size for your speaker. You can always it's always much easier to erase a mark and remark it than it is to repair sheetrock. So now what we're going to go ahead and do is check once again that our mark is where we like it. And I like it, so what I'm going to do is go ahead and cut the hole. First, what you're going to want to do is start out by punching the knife in at the top of the hole. Be careful not to go all the way through. If this is an outside wall where there's brick, then it doesn't really matter, but if you've got a child's bedroom or something on the other side, you don't want to have a hole going all the way through. So be sure to know you've only got 2.5 inches of airspace behind there before you start cutting into the hole behind it. So go ahead and carefully and slowly cut the hole, following the line that you created for your template as closely as possible. guys see okay over there?
Mhm.
Okay, now that we've cut this out, I recommend going ahead and placing it with the rest of your trash out of the way so that you don't trip on it once again. You can use your fine knife to go ahead and trim up any areas that are hanging over or that maybe you didn't cut correctly. It looks like this hole actually is a pretty good cut, and so we're not going to need to do much trimming there. Now, next what we'll need to do is go ahead and get ready and place the speaker into the wall. Before you actually put the speaker in the wall, you're going to want to remove this plastic shield and hook your speaker wire up to the wall. Go ahead and place this with the other trash out of the way. And before you put it in the wall, if we had speaker wire here, you would go ahead and insert the speaker wire into the corresponding slots. And then you can place your speaker into the wall. Real quick, I want to show you guys before I do that. This here is a clamping system that the speaker uses. As you start to tighten this bolt here, or screw, it is going to move this out so that the sheetrock is in between this clamp and this trim piece here. And as you tighten, this piece is going to retract in and tighten up against the sheetrock. Be very careful not to over tighten on this, because if you break one of these, your speaker will rattle later on. You want this to be real firm up against the sheetrock.
Can I ask another question?
Yeah.
Can you undo that ever?
Yeah, you can undo it. Just like when you tighten it, it goes in. When you loosen it, it will return out. Yeah.
I have a question also.
Yeah.
With the wire, you said attach the wire and then put it in the wall, but won't the wires be exposed that way?
No, because you're going to run your speaker in your wall. You attach your wire, and as you're putting the speaker in the
you
wall,
drop it.
you hide the speaker wire in the wall as you put it in. So everything, you shouldn't have any exposed speaker on the outside, any speaker wire on the outside.
That's a very good question.
As you go ahead and put this in the wall, what you can do is use your power drill to go ahead and start the process to getting those firmed up.
You want us to hold that for you?
That's all right. It might be easier for you to use a manual screwdriver. What I was going to recommend is that you could use a power drill until you got it to the sheetrock. But as you hit the sheetrock, stop with the power drill and hand tighten it with your hand screwdriver so as to not over tighten and break those mounts, like I had told you about before. But what we'll do for this purpose, we'll go ahead and use this hand screwdriver to go ahead and tighten all of them.
Are those easily breakable?
They're very easily breakable. That's why with the drill, you only want to get it started and then finish off with the hand screwdriver. And you only want to tighten this until you feel a good amount of resistance. You don't want to go grill on it and break it. So now that we have tightened everything down, the speaker is firmly in place and you're ready to rock and roll. If you want to put the grill on it, then you're more than welcome to. Personally, I don't like the grills. I feel like they do muffle the sound a little bit. But if you want to put it on, you just put it into place and push in. They are very difficult to remove.
Sir, are
Yep.
your personal home speakers, are they not covered? They're completely exposed, or are they not?
Mine are completely exposed. That may change. I'm having children soon, and children like to push their fingers into speakers, so the grills might be coming out. So
Protective grills.
it's definitely something to keep in mind if you have small children. Real quick, I'd like to see if any of you guys would like to replicate what we just did and install a speaker.
No.
You? All right. I've got another wall here for you. And so what I'm going to do is go ahead and take the speaker back out real quick
Okay.
and
Can I
get you
start?
ready to go.
Can I start tracing?
Yeah, while I'm getting this out of the wall, you can go ahead and start the process by deciding where you want the speaker and tracing your template.
Do you have any literature that you can provide for us?
Do what?
So do you have any literature?
Yeah, I've actually got some handouts I'm going to give you guys that may take them with you so that you can refer back to them if need be.
There you go.
My husband usually doesn't let me mess with those dark things in the house.
I'm going to go ahead and hold this for you so it makes it a little easier for you to cut. As you can see, using the keyhole saw is not an easy task. It does take a little bit of muscle. And so that's also why it's important to be careful how deep you go. If you use a little too muscle and gets a hole, you're fine.
Okay.
You'll know when you get to
I
that.
was like, oh, I have a lot of muscle.
But just keep that in mind. You're doing a good job. Yeah, excellent.
Now, is that half-inch thick sheet rock?
Yes.
That's me, I guess.
Biggest problem is coming together when you get to the other end.
Right?
Yeah, you want to show up at the same spot?
Don't mix, didn't come
Keep it
together.
at the close.
Didn't come together.
Having a hard time.
Do you want some help from someone else in the crowd? Can we get someone that can help this
There's a
beautiful lady?
volunteer.
All right, here we go.
Thank you.
Yeah, Roger,
He's
you
probably a
work out while you're-
contractor and has experience.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
That's what I needed. Okay.
No, you did good.
You would've got there, it just would've taken
An hour.
Don't go together, it's all.
You wanted to end in the same place. Uh-oh. There you go.
Just to let you guys know, I picked the smallest speakers they had available on the market. Do you want
Smallest
to
hole.
finish installing the speaker?
Yeah, go.
Sure,
All right.
unless,
Nope, you're good.
okay. So. Actually, maybe I
A little trimming.
need to, it up a little bit.
No, you got, the black things were out.
There you
You're
go.
folded out.
Oh, did I?
Yeah, you need to make sure
Oh, I
those
see.
are in.
Just lost a screw. That can't be it.
We got this. There we go.
reason these screws are so long is because people have different thicknesses of walls. Particularly if it's an older house, they used to make things a little bigger and thicker. You know, the speaker manufacturer wants to accommodate everybody's wall. So don't be discouraged by the long screws.
Seems like you might want to start with a drill first.
Yeah, this is also why you want to start them with a drill.
Is it tight?
Well, relatively tight.
Not too tight.
That's the way you want it. Tight, but not too tight. All right, good job there. Well, now you guys know how to install a recessed speaker. Couple main points to remember. First, we need to select your speaker. You need to round up all your tools ahead of time. Select your speaker location. Mark where that is. Mark your template. Check it twice, cut once. Clean up. That's the most important part. If your spouse comes along and sees sheetrock dust everywhere, you might not be enjoying your home theater anytime soon. Then enjoy. Real quick, does anyone have any questions?
Can we see a test run, how the speaker works, now that it's in the wall?
No, there's no wire for this presentation. Any other questions? All right, well, real quick, let me go ahead and hand out these evaluation forms to you. You can fill them out.
Yeah,
and
I have a question.
Okay.
What's the typical range for theaters for a 5 or a 7 speaker system?
A range in cost?
Yes.
Well, it's like an automobile. You've got your cheap systems and you've got your expensive systems. It's all relative to your budget. So it could be anywhere from a couple $100s to several $100,000. Places like Star Power have speakers that cost over $50,000 a piece.
But do you think
And
that's
so-
necessary?
No. After you break the point of about $2,000, your return on investment quickly diminishes. The difference between a $2,000 speaker and a $50,000 speaker is probably not very noticeable. So, but it's up to you. If you got the money to blow, by all means, buy the best speakers you can. But don't feel like you need to. There's plenty of products available out there for anyone's budget. So, any other questions?
Do you recommend Klipsch mostly, or?
I do like Klipsch. It's a great product, and it's one of those products that just about anyone can afford. Some people may need to save, but I like it. It's an Arkansas company. It's made just in our back door, Hope, Arkansas. American-made product, and they hold up really well. I do recommend them, but there's others out there as well. Moderno is a good speaker. If you're wanting quality, you're going to go towards something that's THX certified. But yeah, Klipsch is a great product. Any other questions before we close up? All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and hand out these evaluations, and you can just leave them at the door when you all leave.